You know, you're running around the street writing your name, and I did that for many, many years. Whatever, maybe I still do it. Anyway, doing all these big spots in the middle of the night and rooftops and whatnot, going down in the cuts and painting spots illegal and all that stuff. I really love that, and I really, you know, cherish those times, but like at a certain point I wanted to start doing work that would have like more of an effect on society or about something more than just myself. Running around writing your name as big and bold as you possibly can, and on some level it really is a very narcissistic act. There's another level of it too that like I feel like you go to a city and there's no graffiti, it's very suspicious. When you go to a city and you see graffiti, you know that this thing's going on. It's where the magic happens. Andrew Schoultz, 42 years of age, currently residing in Los Angeles, California. I've been an artist all my life, I would say, since a small child. But, you know, making a living as an artist is a different story. Like showing my work in galleries and doing projects as an artist for about 17 years now. Every day when I work, I just have shit playing on here all day.
Probably like fucking 1,000, right? I love you. I love you too. .com, Google me.
Pretty good, right? Primarily, I'm an artist. I'm making art, showing it in museums, a lot of public wall projects. I guess a lot of the work I do is informed by sort of like public space issues. The idea of like creating a skate park that also feels like you're inside of a piece of art or something, that really like appealed to me. And basically a friend of mine, Dave Sypanuski, who works for Thrasher magazine, found funding for me to design a skate park that was in Miami this past year for Art Basel. By far and wide, you know, I'll say, like, for the most part, a lot of skaters don't really care, you know, they just want something dope to skate, you know. I'm not gonna hype myself up like, oh, it created this magical experience, but I can definitely know that it created an experience in skating that was like very different, you know, than a lot of other skate parks, and like it really felt like something when you skated through this place. Right now I have a few projects I'm working on. One is a show opening in Miami in May, primarily installation based with another artist named Mark Jenkins, who's a sculptor. I'm also preparing for a show opening in Paris the first week of June, and I'm also in the middle of curating a show that will open here in Los Angeles in May as well. There's always a million projects up in the air. This particular thing I'm drawing on right now has been a new little thing I've been starting, where I'm making pro model skateboards with my friends' names on it that don't currently have pro models. Gonna make a pro model for my homie John Methvin. But of course I'm into skating. A lot of my work veers towards politics, social politics, globalization, the economic crisis, addressing sort of things that are affecting the world in sort of a objective sort of way. Graffiti and skateboarding is really kind of what led me being on sort of a political trip in my life. You know, in Milwaukee, growing up skating, I mean, I got arrested so many times for skating. And then I got in trouble for vandalism. I had to go to jail for a little bit, and that was a nightmare experience at the age of 18. But like really going to jail, you quickly learn how like the system actually works, and you're just a number at that point. That was like the very beginnings of becoming politically conscious. You know, when I moved from the Midwest to San Francisco, a lot of it had to do with skateboarding, and a lot of it had to do with graffiti. At the time, it was like the skateboarding and graffiti mecca of of the world, really. And I wanted to be a part of that. Was writing for some companies, filming, doing the whole thing, but also going to school. And then, I got brutally hurt. I was out for about 6 months. I was already showing really heavily around San Francisco. I was doing major mural projects. I was running a mural project with at-risk teens, doing this after-school program called the Urban Youth Arts Project. Sure enough, like the sponsors I wrote for started cutting me out and giving me the vibe like I was done. And at the time I was really bummed about it. Now I look back at it, it's like such a blessing in disguise, because I was out for 6 months, focused on my art, focused on the future of what I was gonna do in life. I learned like really quick. It's a very short-lived career to be a professional skateboarder, and most professional skateboarders don't make it up to this like level of huge sponsored, Nike sponsored contracts and all this stuff. I really saw longevity in a future. I pursue my art now in the last 15 years the same way I used to pursue skating, in the 90s. .3-carat gold leafing. There's a painting underneath the mask, and so I poured paint down the front of a painting, then masked off around the paint that I poured. So then what we're gold leafing, we'll gold leaf, then we'll cut back out the mask, and then the painting will be revealed underneath the gold dripping mess. I told you what this was, I'd have to kill you. It's trial and error, you learn over the years. So right now, I'm just putting the leaf on. You put it on like this, then you come back with a brush and you pounce it down so it's all stuck down, and then you brush away the excess. Gold leaf is something I use in my work because it sort of represents economic stuff, like your money's supposedly backed by gold and all these different things. Addressing different things that have to do with like globalization, the economic fallout, all the wars going on in the world. Wars are being fought over what? Basically greed, money. And I've used a lot of currency over the years in my work. Republika Hrvatska. But it's always cool, like, to see all the symbolism that's on here, Oh, this is Somalia. Some wars going on there right now. I can't complain, I've done really well. You get some good people behind you that really believe in what you do, that support you, and then you support what they do, and, you build something together. That's, like, really what's up. And I feel fortunate enough that I've been able to meet a lot of really good people who have done, really good things for me because, not because they wanted something necessarily, but because they actually believed in it. At the end of the day, too, it's like with all this stuff, there's definitely a business, but you want to work with good people that you can get behind, that you can vouch for, If I don't like somebody, or if I think they're not a good person, I don't want nothing to do with them, even if they could make me $1 million. You know what I mean? Yeah, the art game's pretty tough though. The hustle of it, but also just like on a financial level and just spiritually, putting yourself out there on the chopping block all the time. Like, there's a lot of rejection when you're like out here doing this. Generally speaking, if you're out in the streets doing graffiti, if you're out in the streets skating, if you're out in the streets doing any of this kind of stuff, you're living outside of the norm, like, so to speak, on some level, I feel like. And you're also, like, experiencing the urban environment, in a very different way than the average person. Some people go through their whole lives and they've never really been a part of a community. Growing up skating, it was like immediately you had your community around you, and there's something priceless about that.